Alrighty, so what we're going to start doing is we're going to start connecting our accounts up to our, my web application. After we've logged in, you're able to create a number of different provider accounts, one for like Twitch, one for Discord, one for Live EDU. And so we're hooking up those OAuth providers right now. So I wanted to come in here and take a look then at my MVC. And I want to look at my controller app start for, we're looking at under my areas, you have something here called Alley Chat, and then you had a controller called Twitch controller, and then down here you had this thing called widget create and widget index. Okay, you are also creating the backend service layer, so that's down here under my modules for my Alley Chat. It was called my data access layer. We had the unit of work constructed correctly, right? This looks right. One thing that I don't like is that I need to put all of my models here into this domain. Looks like I'm already doing that. Which means that out here, where I currently have these other libs with the same thing in them, hold on. Yeah, we can get rid of these. And the reason is that I'm going to end up having too many models to maintain, and then also this will prevent me getting any circular references as well. That looks fine. And then same thing here on my... And then we're going to check up here. There's my account, and then those. So these are all here. Okay. Next thing was down here on the, not the lib, we want to look at the data access layer here, which is this one. Okay. Good. So now on this one, we currently have my repos set up. That looks fine. And then we need to update my unit of work. That was fine. And then we were actually looking at the data access layer. So you have something here called Twitch credentials. That's fine. That's just a little class. Let's put that where it belongs, which is here inside of the library file. And this thing has a namespace of phs dot, and why is this so small? alleychat dot twitch dot lib. No. I don't know why I thought this was a model. This is right where it needed to be. Okay, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. This needs to get moved over here. Sorry. This one is my alleychat twitch.lib. And then let's make a new folder in here called interfaces. We'll bring this in here. And we'll change the namespace here to be it's called my twitch.lib.interfaces. Okay. We'll take a look at my error list. I'm trying to build it. And I want to take a look down here at my data access layer for this on service. You had it set up so that you had one for, not that. Yeah. So you need to have one in here for provider, I think is the next thing, right? Oh, this is your auth provider. So you should have one of these in here for your Ally chat. And you do. Whatever. Okay. Give it a minute while it spins up here. One second while it's finishing building. Trying to build. We got to fix those references that I broke. It'll only take a second. Just a few more. Oops. Almost there. And you already missed that one. A few more. 31, almost there. Almost there. Here's one. And then there was one here, and 16. Just another second. So why is this telling me that it doesn't have channels? It's probably in this. Just a second. So this is what you created in your data access layer yesterday. Let's see, you have a create an account, create a provider. Okay. If you look at this routed, Wrong button. It's going to have a user that it's associated with, and then a number of channels joined. Yeah. Just a second. Just another second. I want to look at this one more time, because this view model, oh, this has channels. Provider routed. Provider Twitch routed. Channel Twitch. We'll just make this channels. It actually makes more sense than whatever I was thinking before. Okay. Can't convert it to my Twitch routed channel Twitch. But if I look back here at this, this is just going to have one of these items in it. Okay, so that means that this is actually a Twitch routed channel Twitch. We'll call this channels routed. And all this is going to be as a new one of these things, right? And this is going to have my channel in it. And then it's also going to have this provider routed, which was entity. Okay. Like that. Okay, that's fixed. And now the other problem was we had one more error here, which is the same little bit of a thing here. Where is it? Channel Twitch, channels. This one's creating a new one. Provider Twitch routed channel Twitch. And now so after you insert this, perfect. And it's one of those, and this is my channel, right? And then the other one was my entity. Good to go. Let's rebuild it. I'm waking up. It's nice. Is the mic too loud? Does it sound okay? Seems off today. Try it again. All right. Let's go ahead and rebuild it. Everything's good to go. Okay, so now we can close everything. I'm currently pushing all my stuff out. That's fine there. So now what I need to do is, this is a data access layer services switch, right? Whatever, it's not going to change for me right now. So over here now, I think I'm ready to actually continue scaffolding out. I need to go to I need to make a providers, right? So let me go back into this, and we want to have this create here, and we're going to make a new one below it. And all this is going to be is a create provider async. Sorry. Forgot to add async to the end of these. Okay, so here now, this one, we are actually passing in here a provider view model, right? Is this a provider create request? So now if I come back and I look at my lib for my request here, this one is just going to be called a provider create request. And this is a public, and this is of a type base view model, right? Oh, I'm sorry, it's a base request. And now let's go take a look at provider over here. So I got my provider here. I want to take another look back at my view model that I'm creating here. When we're creating this, we're going to be passing over a, not this, it is going to be a provider ID and a provider value. And that's it. You're also going to need to have over here a provider update request. This one is a little more stuff in it. Okay. Just has a provider ID and a provider. And then a provider's routing and a provider's routed. Let me take a look at what this is here. So here, all this is going to be is like this. So now you're going to be passing a string to represent each one of those because it's coming from Web API. Just another second. Let's go make this happen now. So now I need to go back over to the data access layer. Here. Looks like I have this in here twice. Hold on. Interesting. We'll just get rid of it here. This one is a request, and we're mapping this over to be a provider, right? Which has a provider ID and then also an account. So it's going to be entity dot, and then we have account is equal to well, because you're saying, okay, you got a problem with your models. So you're saying that a provider is attached to one account right now, right? But that's not correct. A provider is going to be by itself, and then this is going to be... So this is actually called a provider account, right? We'll call this a account provider. And this one now is going to be called a provider. And the only thing that this is where's my create? And also it's going to have a collection now of my account provider. Like that. This needs to be a public, and it's going to be a type-based model. And now this is my, has a provider ID here. This is actually going to be not these two, but a provider. Oh, it also has that account, right? So now back over here under my provider alley chat, you should make sure that you have a account. And then a number of these providers, right? As a provider, right? Perfect. So now we need to add that to the context. So that's here in data access layer context. We want to add it to my like that. And a provider goes here. And then we need to add it here. Okay, and then over here, this needs to include provider. Like this. Perfect. What's wrong here? Account providers. Because it needs an S. All right. And then I noticed that this is a little bit wrong. This needs to be a property. Just a second here. So what we want to do is we want to say auto-generate entity framework good. This one. We need to add in here this property called has default value. So you should just be able to go like this and add in here a ID has database generated option identity. Okay, let's go ahead and add this onto my context. And we're on the data access layer context, so we need to add it to the domain here in just a moment as well. We can do this a little bit faster if we go like this. So this is making sure that my auto generation of my IDs is working as we want, because it's not currently, and we'll fix that. Okay, so we should be able to take this and move this over to my domain code first here. Oh my God. And then we need to have one more in here for account .to table. And we want to call this one my accounts auth. Like that. And now let me move this over to the correct module down here, which is my Ali Chat auth data access layer, right? This one. Oops, oops, oops. This one. So the only ones that this wants is account, account clients, client, and refresh token. And I don't even see you using account client. Okay, that looks great. Okay, so now back over here, this account provider here, this thing needs to have an account. So this is a provider, right? And that looks right. And now all it's going to be is a unit of work dot accounts, providers dot insert my entity. And then what we want to do is we want to check to see if it saves it. Then we want to return this as the provider view model. This thing is called account providers, right? And this one here is going to be a repo generic, and it's going to be called my provider. I context alley chat. Now let's look at the implementation, because we need to and this one needs to be a protected repo generic of my provider. Like that. So then that means that down here in my providers is called accounts providers. And then we'll just copy this whole little chunk and add it right here. And we're going to call this providers, which is a provider here, providers here, here, and here. And then this is a provider. Looks good. Up here, I need to add provider to my view model. Like that. So that'll work now. This one here is my get providers all async. We're just going to make this a provider view model here, and this is now going to, for each one of these, we want to map this to a provider view model. Like that. Just a order thing for me here. Okay. So we're on this one now. This is no get provider async. And this one will be as a provider ID. Okay, and so now this one is going to be my don't worry about this for now. And now this one's going to be my update provider. Again, this is a provider view model. Provider update request. Hey, good morning there, Shadow151356. It's going good, a little slow. How's the volume out there? My mic seems to be a little funny this morning. This one here is my providers. And this is going to be called request. This thing also needs to have a string in it called my provider ID. We're going to call this my provider code value. So now here what we need to do is a GUID, and then we need to check to see if my GUID.tryParse of my request.id is in fact an out GUID. Then what we want to do is check all of this stuff. Like that. Then we're going to get this, we'll map it across, and then we're going to add this to my providers. And then we're going to return the provider view model. That. And then finally we have this delete, which is a provider. Sounds normal to me. Yeah, it's a little slow today, but not bad. Just waking up. Provider ID. Here we go. And now we need to delete it from providers. Let's copy these things up here to my data access layer. That's fine. Okay. And we'll bring those in there, and then it's interface, so we can't have any of that. So now over my web API, under my contents for Ali Chat, I should have something here called a providers controller, and I do. Let's uncomment all this stuff. Data access layer service looks good. And now this is going to be called get providers. Like that. When I look at a provider response, it just includes this view model, which is perfect. But isn't this an S? Yeah. So now in my response, this thing's going to have a providers is equal to my data access layer service dot get providers async. Looks good, okay. So now if my providers is not equal to null here, then we're going to create a response here and pass the correct code. And now my next API call is going to be my get provider. And this is going to be passing over a provider response, right? Now I'm doing this as a provider. I'm doing this as a partial. I'm not. So that means that this needs to have a route prefix on it because I'm doing annotation based routing. And we're going to say that this is Ali Chat providers That looks right. And this is a provider. And now this is going to be a provider response. So now if this is in fact not null, then we're going to parse out my GUID, and then what I want to do is get my provider here. And I want to await my data access layer service, and I want to do a get provider async. So now that's if an ID was passed. Otherwise, if it was a username, it's going to be a provider here, and this is going to be a we don't need it as a username. That's wrong. We'll just say that this is actually an ID. So these are my two gets. This is my create provider. Provider create request. And this is going to be a provider response. So if my model state is valid, it's not valid, then we're going to exit. Otherwise, we're going to check to, we don't care. So now when we create the provider, we can actually pass just right in my request, right? Easy enough. So those are get, create. We need to have an update. Public async task of my provider response called my update provider. Provider update request. Sorry, this is called HTTP put. Now let's just copy our guts here. Like that. And here we're going to update provider async. Easy enough. And then finally we need to delete. Interesting. Because I guess you don't need this, right? But you do need a delete here. We would like your feedback on this. We were ready to launch the Indigo campaign site. We want some input from you. What impression does the page make on you? Are the pledges and rewards clear to you? What confuses you? What needs improvement? Okay, initially I like pink. I wonder what this is. This isn't loading here. Okay, so this is establishing Live EDU's role within the streamer community. Oh, hi Mohammed. I've never met you in person. I didn't know it's a team of 6. I like this. I like knowing the team and that it's an intimate team, smaller one. I know you guys are out in San Francisco. So I'm noticing that I like the meat of the page more than this part. This part's distracting for me just because unless it's a dashboard with data, the opening pages don't really appeal. But down here where we have data and we have information, I like this. I like this here, that you're actually kind of going over different things. I really like this. This is awesome. I like the interviews with individuals. This is really nice as well. I let me go back to the initial questions. It was, what does the page make on you? So I think I kind of got that. I really like this second half, and it looks like it's I'd say that it's almost like a high level overview that could be presented for an executive team for potentially something like funding if you needed. But it's also kind of an advertising piece to try to get you to pay, because again, you guys have a paid model that you have to support. One thing that I would really like to see you guys have is more support for developers. So something that we could do integration with the stream kind of on your guys' site at the same time. So like provide a tool that would allow me to manipulate what's happening on, not on screen, but within the browser of the users, right? What confuses me was the rewards. I'm not sure where the pledges are. I saw that you could put a number of dollars in per month to get a different subscription package, but the rewards weren't clear to me. And what needs improvement? I would say Bootstrap. I would say that if I had to say what needs improvement, we don't talk. Is that there's no Bootstrap in here. So I'd say you want to put Bootstrap in here to align your page and use the grid. Hey, Meow Marie, good morning. It's good to see you again. I didn't get an email or a private message, so I don't know what happened there. What am I doing this morning is I'm finishing up where we were yesterday. I just created my provider here. And so I'm going to connect this over to my website right now. What's going on? Yeah, I immediately looked when I got off stream. And this one's going to be returning a bool because this is just a delete provider, right? Oh, no, it's not. This is always going to be a provider response. And this thing is going to be passing in just a string, right? And I think you already have a controller done here for this, for delete. So lazy, Rob. So now what you want to do is this is going to be, we're taking the current time, we're checking to see nothing here. And now it's going to be a GUID if my GUID.tryparse ID is going to be this out GUID. Then what we want to do is we're going to say this provider here, and we're going to get it here. Like that. We don't. Let's go ahead and build it, and then we're going to see if the web API is working, and I think it is. He just sent me a PM. All right, thank you, man. I'll check that when I get offline, and I'll message you back. You have bugs that try GUID? Oops. Thank you. Get by IDA sync here. This says that this is returning an account provider from this. Let me go check this out real quick. Whoops. It's in my providers. Right here, my delete provider, update provider, provider view model. It's in your unit of work. I don't see where the problem is. It doesn't either. How strange. But it does here. So this is wants to do a provider Twitch routed. So this thing is a account provider. Should just be called a provider, right? But this provider is attached to an account. Hold on. Provider Twitch routed. We want to check that model here. My laptop looks so tiny when I got used to. So what's going on? Those build times would have gone to waste. Yeah, I know. There's so many build times right now because it's getting bigger. I'm doing this. I'm hooking my my web API up still right now because I have a few more calls that I need to implement. But it's going pretty quick. Let me just check something. So if you go provider here, my entity here that you created was this provider Twitch routed, which has a number of these. Oh, you took it out. Hold on. When you look back at provider Twitch, where's my provider? Provider. This is going to be called provider code, right? Right here. This has a number of different account providers associated with it. And now this one's also going to have this collection of provider module routed. I like those keycaps you have. Thanks, man. Who are you talking to? I don't know, whoever's in here. Myself. How's the sound? Does it sound okay? My mic's kind of funny today. Provider module routed. So each provider would be something like a, each module would be, I'm sorry, each provider is like Twitch or Discord or Facebook, right? And then within that, you have an account that's associated with it. So then you have a provider which has a number of different accounts. And then within that provider, you're going to be routing some of those things to accounts. And then also you're going to be routing out from accounts back. So routed is going from like another account into, it's going from like another user's account into your account. Like that. No routing is in records related to the account. It's like RSS feed routing. So imagine like I'd be able to take the chat that we have in Discord and then also live EDU and then also Twitch and integrate them all into one system. And then instead of having like 35 channels to check, you'd be able to check the channels that you would like to have routed either to the website or to like a developer stream, either TCP or WebSocket. Yeah, sorry. It's hard to explain, but it's got a purpose. And now this is going to be routing, right? Provider routing. So we'll just call this routed. That's fine. And now this is extending these, right? So back to the real thing, which was this. Routed here has a account. I'm going to move this over here for a second. Account associated with it, a number of channels, and then who it's connected as. And this is a provider. So it is a provider here. Why wouldn't you let link on providers under? Why wouldn't you let people link other OAuth providers under an umbrella? I don't know what you mean by under an umbrella, but that's exactly the point, actually. So you'll be able to authorize onto the account using a variety of providers, right, onto the web app. But then also you'll be able to authorize with different scopes to allow sending messages or receiving messages on the RSS feeds. I don't have an idea of the anticipated user use. Probably it'll start slow, and we'll see if it takes. But I need it for my own work. Okay, so now we should be able to run this, right? And I need to make sure my database is here. Yeah, see, it started that I needed this for my own stuff, and then I recognized that there's a whole lot of other people who need this as well. And I said, why don't I just develop this on stream? All right, so here's our database. Okay. So we should be able to just add a migration to this, right? Verifying most recent. Yeah, what's going on? When you push updates, connecting to all the channels can be a sad struggle. Oh, you mean actually on the... So I'm an N-tier developer, so when I push updates, I'll just take one down and put the next one up, essentially, so it won't be like a major load at one time. Oh, and the other thing is about rate limits. Instead of using just one bot that's going to be sending messages, you can hook your own account up to it, right? So that you can have like, oh, I want to be ceramics something, or like ceramics bot, or I want to be plumbing bot, then you'd be able to hook that in as well. And now we need to update this database. It's probably going to tell me no. AFAIK, the rate limit is IP based. Oh, not for Twitch. It's username based, I think, for Twitch. But I have everything hooked up to a timer as well. So, and if it becomes large enough, I'm pretty sure I can talk with Twitch, because like MooBot, ReploBot, I'm sure that they had something set up like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it. Crap, I can't yet. Oh, you got to push the web API out. Can I run both? I might be able to run both. Here we go. Well, actually, we're just testing web API first. Hold on. We had to build a separate system to handle these things. So annoying. Yeah. I just use timers. And now let's go to Swagger. I gotta get more coffee. What? Three eight 385. We had an abstract proxy layer for the 38385. It's not working either. We had an abstract proxy layer for the connection, which would get a bus or MVC to actually intersect with the core. So as you pushed out, fixed, it never disconnected from any service. That's cool. That sounds like something I have not worked with, to be honest. Yeah, I hate the random ports. You're supposed to change them, but I'm super lazy. There we go. So here it's a provider. We want to add in a, let's see if we can get anything. internal service error. So let's check to see why we're getting that. Providers. Create, get. Oh crap, I don't have an exception here. I mean, if you think about it, what's a chat service or really contain? It's a list of messages with some metadata. Yeah, it is. So we just exposed those as contract to the actual core of it, which were basically two sub. Yeah, but what was the proxy layer like? How did that manage the rate limit, so to say? Are you still just having multiple connections, so to say, and on different IPs? Oh, I guess I'd be able to end tier it out on different servers as well, and so different IPs if I need to. Okay, what's up with my error? Okay, it says that I have a problem unable to determine the principal relationship between auth account and account Ali chat. So let's go fix that. So here inside of my code first. What was it? Account and account Ali chat. One account here. Okay, so let's fix it. So in my code first, I need to add in down here that this has an optional dependent. And then this needs to be on my account Ali chat here. Oh crap, you have this in here twice? You have it in here 3 times? How many times do you have this thing in here? I gotta go change that here in my context auth too. Okay. Account Ali chat right here. And then we want to add in this one more time. Dot to table accounts Ali.chat. Exactly. We use Redis to control that part. Oh, Redis. So like Amazon Web Services Elasticache. Yeah. So like a memory database. I actually like to do that as well. I like to use SignalR on my web apps. And then I populate like a memory cache layer or a Regis database or however you want to work with that. I mean, I've just done it in memory. And so that way I push updates to it and then I don't have to hit the database constantly. The goal of the design was to help with sharing, load balancing, and interaction with those service. Okay, so now this one is my has required, right? Account with an optional account Ali chat. Will cascade on delete is true. And then back up here, this one is my will cascade on delete, true. Okay, so now we need to come back here into my migrations to my config. Oh, we don't have anything? Oh, yes, you do. Like that, and then we're going to delete the migrations and re-add them. Because you can constantly roll out changes to an actual core bot, but you didn't really want to add constantly, because it will cause service interruptions. Yeah. Yeah, that's the key, is to try to do changes without having it have downtime. That's always challenging when you're working with a production system. Or you could do the thing where you wait till 2 a.m. and do it for 10 minutes. That's been my strategy through the years. Oh, baby, I gotta get up at 3 today. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. We're going to enable migrations. Yeah, and depending on how the bot operates, I know it's common for cloud services to roll out a whole new VM each time, but on Linux you can keep a Unix socket each up and during, and you can never disconnect from the service. Oh, I didn't know that. But works, but with services like this, you're going to have global user bases. What do you mean by global user bases, as opposed to a peer-to-peer model? Well, I haven't decided in the end how I'm going to route, because I could use SignalR for the routing, but I could also just use XMPP. I mean, I wrote a client for it. It seems pretty effective. It seems kind of heavyweight. I could make a WebSocket server. Oh, no. Yeah, 2 a.m. rollouts. Yeah, I know. I'll have rush. Yeah. It's better, though, than doing it at midday, depending on when the stream. I had to do research and look at the traffic on the platforms. Okay, so this is code first to my migration, so you want to add migration called init. Yeah, I would use SignalR and Redis. So Redis over Amazon Web Services Elasticache? Oh no, Elasticache. I use AWS. Just call me Walmart. You got to do that one more time. If you guys haven't yet, please click the follow. Check us out, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. That's the main way that everyone stays in communication. All the older videos for this series are up on YouTube, and there's no music, so the audio is good. And we don't have a custom link yet on YouTube. I think we need about 40 more follows, so if you could follow me out there. And I could paste a link if you guys need it, or just search for LiverDev Trying. Let me paste that, and then we're going to add this migration called init. So Myamory, let me ask you a question. I never modify the ASP.NET tables, but I'm tempted to for the first time, because it seems like for my authorization it's going to be slowing down significantly without that foreign key. Do you think that that is accurate as well? Okay, here we go. Update database. No, it's not that. I don't usually modify the original 5 tables, so I can take other open source applications and just plug them right on into my system. But I guess since I'm using OAuth 2.0, that doesn't apply anymore, huh? That's a legacy thing. My bad. Yeah, I've been doing the OAuth servers for a while now. I forgot that wouldn't really. All right, so we're good. Let's run it. Code first isn't always the most fun. Is it that I need to have it the other way in here? With optional dependent. With required dependent s, where my s dot account. Try it again. It's done by hand, and also MS SQL is sharding in it. It's done by hand, and you manually partition the table. It's a pain. I'll say that code first is the only way I'd go about doing anything. I like it all the way up until it goes to production, and then I get worried that it could damage production data. So it's important to run all those tests. Yes, if it was not backed by version control. But you can do the same thing in the SQL. You can make a SQL Server project within Visual Studio, and then if you save that, it'll put it out there on your Git as well. Add migration in it. I have not seen CockroachDB. Is that like Mongo? Tell me more. I like Mongo, but I don't use it for... Oh wait, did it not scaffold all the way? It did, but it never updated. Oh, so you don't have to shard this. It's essentially SQL Server, but with no sharding required. Can you use Entity Framework with it? So Google Spammer was a rewrite. Yeah. Yeah, the traditional SQL, it has that mismatch in there from the entity model to relational database model. So hopefully, but I mean, it doesn't really resolve that, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, it's because I didn't update in my data access layer down here for my context auth. I didn't update this stuff, so we need to bring in this. This one is for account. This one is for client. And then you have refresh token. And then it seems like I should bring in this account alley chat. Let's try it again. Does it have entity for it? It supports the PostgreSQL. Oh, so it's what is PostgreSQL Java or JavaScript? Most features are working. There are new features daily. So this is by Google. Google supporting it. I have a live product that's asked by Cockroach. Yeah, some funkiness, but more works really well. Even a failure to experience out, which I guess is what you really want. I'd say that the whole master-slave BS doesn't exist here either. I'm not still done it for everything, but it's something fun. Yeah, I'm gonna save this as a reference, and I'll give it a try on probably my next project. I mean, it's always fun to try new tools. Let's try it again. What? Try it again. It will work, but it has access permission issues. No, it's not access permission. I have to define some of the different relationships explicitly when they're one-to-one in particular and say, hey, this one is required or this one is optional. And I'm having a mismatch right now. It's another SQL store, same commands that usually drop supported. Any framework supports PostgreSQL. See, I did not miss this part of the framework. Yeah, this part I do not like. That's probably not going to work, right? Yeah, that's not going to work. So let's try moving these pieces over here. This one is my to account. And this one is my accounts here. Let's come back over to this and we'll refresh it. We'll enable the migrations again. I feel like this one will work. Well, this needs to be false, though. Oh my God, Rob. Let's try it now. I have some stupid concurrency deadlocks to resolve today. How do I do that? I put a... unique ID requirement. I put a unique index requirement on the column that I need. And so that way, because I had that same problem when it was registering and I'd shoot 50 messages async, it would register the account like 50 times. And so then I'd put on a unique identifier and then it would start to error out. It would send me error response codes and I just handle those. But yeah, we have some issues with that at my day job. I like async await. It seems to alleviate that for the most part. Okay, we're updating it. Uh-oh. Is it going to error? I think I got it here. We're going to run it. Morning, Peter. How are you doing today? It's good to see you, buddy. I wonder if it'll let me do that. Why are you confused? What's going on? Oh, it's just driving me nuts. Int minus int plus int does not equal int minus plus. That should work. That all looks the same. I mean, it doesn't equal. You just have a logic error there. I have x equals, which should means what? That's weird. I wonder what's going on. That's weird. Can you paste spin it? I want to take a look at this one more time. Oops. Add migration in it. See if we can get it. Huh. What is this crap? Hold on, we got an issue here with how this is set up. So I want to look back at my library files for auth. This is all in domain. Try that again. I'm unhappy with how that did that. Try it again. I don't understand the problem. The parentheses obviously changed the result. Yeah, he's right. It'll change the result. I wonder if this will do it. All right, well, that was different. See what happens here. I feel dumb now. Order operations. Nah, don't worry, man. We all have those moments. I remember one time I couldn't make a character move across the screen with a key or a camera. I can't remember. Something stupid. It happens, especially when you're sleepy. It says that this was not found on account Ali chat. Hey there, welcome back. Still struggling, almost through it. Have you ever worked with TypeScript? No, not really, just a little bit. I brought it into an app and just looked at it, but no, I don't really do too much. I do JS, just really vanilla, and I use other people's stuff and try to plug it in there. I hate this right now. I'm so frustrated. I need to find a JS god. They're hard to find. I know a couple of them. Have you met the Good Idea Company? He knows it really well. JS is hard because without TypeScript, there's just so much crap out there. But it's not too bad with Google Developer Console. What the fuck is the problem here? JS makes me want to cry as well. What's the issue? I've been doing a lot of JS, but I'm still learning. Sons of bitches. Let's try that. So think of, I want to implement the driver patterns of some sort of type. I think of cars. I want to design some car list name implementation. Can't you just make an object? Oh, you want to do polymorphism. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And then I want to come down and look at my code first database, and I want to look here. It says I want to use with optional principal. Okay, and then it also says that on my code first, I can come into my account and I can look at this. And I can say that this is required. That's how I would do it too. Just like how Peter said. That's exactly how I would do it. But you want inheritance. I'd probably make a bunch of different lists and have one list reference the other list. Oh, pardon me. Let's try that. Well, there's no constructor in JS, so at runtime, when you load the website, what I would use is something like signal R, and I would pass that to a function, and then I'd store that in a var. You don't have to create it, you could just do it as a var. I'm not sure. What are you trying to do it? Explain more. Like, what's the back end? Well, let's go, right? There we go. Where does the list come from? That's what I want to know too. Okay, that worked. And it set up my foreign keys correctly, I think. That looks good. What a nightmare, but we finally got it. So now, if I wanted to, for example, post... Oh, I have this on the wrong path. My provider ID will be 101, and we're going to say that this is, I don't know, Twitch. Internal server error. So let's check that. Missing mapping type. So that's easy. It's missing provider create. I guess you want to go from a provider create request to a provider. And then also you want to go from a provider update request to a provider. And then this one is my let's try it again. The shipped code via API is invalid, which is so dangerous. So the new car we add Porsche, then I want to write the implementation at runtime. Let see car list be generated. Okay, what I would do is I'd use Mongo database, okay, and then I'd expose different objects on the web API and extend them, and then store all of that in a var, so that will be dynamic by nature, and then you could use something like a string that you could parse that would have logic to tell JavaScript how to respond, and you could put in some kind of regex in there that would parse it and then have it do different things. How's that? Okay, that worked. It didn't add my provider ID though. So why didn't that happen? When I look here at this, provider ID is an integer, and you're calling this a provider code. What do you mean the security? In regards to storing data in JavaScript? If I were ever attacked, I wouldn't want somebody to inject malicious code and harm the user base. Couldn't you do some kind of salting, peppering, hashing algorithm to verify the fingerprint that it is in fact coming from the right location? I think they do that with OAuth for client authorization. I mean, for native application flow, there's something that people are wanting to do. Still just slow. Where's my update request? Okay, we're going to need to add a migration for that. And then the second you run eval in JS, you're effed. Well, then in that case, couldn't you do everything on your server side and just do it with routing? I guess I didn't really change the name in the database. So that means that you got an issue here in my lib for my provider. This is going to be code, and this is going to be value. Oh my god, this was a nightmare to get this one going. But at least we have the pattern figured out for the next time. Did it not change anything in my providers table? provider code, provider value, timestamp. Strange. There we go. Okay, so here it is. We're going to say that this code is going to be 101, and we're going to say that this thing is named Twitch. That worked, but our name came in as null. It's not one thing, it's another. Where's my code first context? Do I not even see provider in here? No, it's right here. That would do it. dbo.blah. What do you mean? Oh, I hate the way that MS does their naming conventions. I do as well. I leave it only the same for the ASP.NET tables, and then I use my own schemas for everything. But I'm confident that this is going to work now. So then I want to come to my account. There's other context in here. Not auth, sorry. It's the alley chat. Well, that one was right, of course. Okay, so that ran, right? And now I probably want to, just for good times, we'll delete this. And then I want to come back in here, and I needed to add in a piece of logic in here in my data access layer for alley chat for my service. Right here, where I am creating the provider, we're going to look for it. Var existing provider equals await unit of work dot providers dot where dot get async s where my s dot account providers dot where my name is equal to my request dot name dot trim dot toLower. If my existing provider does not equal to null, return null. So I guess you could do like this. If this equals to null, or unitofwork.providers.get async s, where my s.code is equal to my request.code. Check if the provider already exists. So I think that this is wrong. This actually goes into my controller. So that's here. Hey there, Himura TV. Thank you for that follow. If you have any questions, please pop them into the channel. Check us out, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. So here what this is, you have to check to see if provider already exists. So now if my, okay, we're just going to do this again, but it's going to be if my service data access layer service dot get provider async So this one's going to be here an integer, and this one's going to be called code, and this one will be a string here, and this one will be called provider name. So this is going to be, hey Torek, thank you for that follow, appreciate that, buddy. If you have any questions, please put them into the channel. Get async s, where my s.code is equal to my code. So it's this, if this is equal to null, or await my unit of work dot providers dot get async s, where my s dot name dot trim dot toLower is equal to my like that. Let's move this right here. Like that. And this one here is the name, so this is going to be get async s, where my s dot name dot trim dot toLower is equal to my name dot trim dot toLower. Easy enough. So then back up here, let's go into this and add in my 2. This one is going to be an int, and it's going to be a code, and this one will be a string, and it'll be a name. And this is going to be a request.code. So if this does not equal null, or await my data access layer dot get provider async request dot name does not equal to null. So now you're going to run and return this conflict. Hey there, Oliver. 1803, how are you doing today? Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions, please pop them into the channel. Please join us at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com, and if you guys haven't clicked the follow yet, please support the channel. Thank you. This one here, we already got this. And now, if that's the case, then you're going to create this provider, and then you are going to check to see if created successfully. Okay, let's run it. Oh, I forgot to do my database thing. Let's get rid of this one and this one. Update database. I just had to install Putty on my Windows. Oh, so you're connecting to Linux. I've used it a couple times. I'm not the biggest Linux technical expert. I can follow breadcrumbs only so long. Okay, let's run it. So now when I run it, stupid. You forgot to do that. Okay, let's try it again. You are a Microsoft Stack only dev, or do you work with other languages? I don't really do too much PHP. I do a little bit of Node. I do some JavaScript, CSS, and HTML, but I do primarily Microsoft Stack. Yep. I am a .NET developer mostly. There we go. So this one created, and if I run it again, it'll tell me. Okay, so this thing is not getting my mapper from provider to my provider view model. Oh, it's because this is still a single. That makes a lot more sense. There we go. Try it again. It's better to be rock solid on a stack than trying to be good or better at everything. You have a solid MVC.NET experience. Thanks. Yeah, I agree. It's really good to have a solid rock that you know you can always go back to and have all the tools that you need to make money continue to come into your house, you know. But it's always good to be learning new tools too. One thing I found with some older developers is people can static, essentially. Like they learn the tools and they feel really comfortable with them, and then they kind of stop. This is telling me it's a null. And this is a conflict. There we go. I mean, once you learn a stack, you can quickly learn new technologies. Absolutely. A lot of .NET things will exist in other languages. Yep, they're all very familiar. Although I think Java doesn't have as much heredity. Is that correct? It's mostly the same. Yeah, once you get the process is the fact. So this should give me a conflict now. And it does. And now I should be able to come in here and add in like a Discord. Perfect. So now we can actually create this page. So let me push this out. Come on, come on. And then we want this to be my new standard, my startup. Good. Okay, so now we need to come over here and we're going to set this as my startup project. I need to run an update database on this, right? And remember, we're going to be implementing Identity Server 3 so that we can use the Katana pipeline for authorization as opposed to our current method when we get there. Probably do that early next week. The other thing that I should do is here inside of my Ali chat, I have something called client services where I'm writing my HTTP requests. So here you have create, provider. Looks like you already have this. If I move this over here and I look at my controller, get providers, providers, provider. This is a provider here. Okay, and so now if we match this, provider, response, create provider, get providers, get provider. Like that. Get provider async. This is just an ID. This one is a create. This one's going to be an update. I don't think I currently have this thing written as a put. Let me see if I can do that though. Let me just go check something, see how challenging this would be to change this to a put. Not hard. Here you go. And now you probably need one more. Looks good. But singular default can't be null? It can. When it's default, that is null. Single can't be null. And that'll throw an exception if it can't find it. Okay, so this thing is going to be called update provider async. Like that. Okay, and then finally you have one more in here called delete provider async. Okay, so when you look at delete, it doesn't have this. Like that. Oops. Oh my God. I-base client services. Is that really? Yeah, because they're all protected. like that. That looks pretty good. So now back over here, we should be able to add this stuff. Like that. And then we need to add in some of these. What's wrong here? Okay. So now we can come over to the MVC. In my areas under my providers. So we need to add here a new scaffolded item. I want to do this with read-write actions. Can't you scaffold it within any framework? I wonder if I could just do this real quick here. So we want to do a provider view model. It's probably going to tell me that I need a data context class, which is fine. So let's do it the other way then, where we're going to add in a new item here. We'll do this with read-write actions. We'll call this a providers controller. And then we need to add in here a new couple views. So our first one in here is a index. And this is going to be a provider view model, right? And it's going to be a partial view. We don't have a data context class. Okay, we're going to need to have another one in here. We need to have one called details. We need to have one called create. We need to have one called delete. And then I think update, and that'll probably do it. Making URI string manually is okay. Maybe exists some builder. So those are just my client services. So that's a DLL that I can distribute out to any of my client applications. In terms of the query builder, I totally could use query string, but it's only one parameter, so it's just easier to hard code it, and it should never be changing. And the only place that it would change would be in that client lib, and then that would be redistributed. So I really think that anything beyond that is a little superfluous. But thanks there, Humora TV. Welcome. How are you? I'm doing great today. Thanks, Tim Apple, though. If you haven't, guys, please click the follow. Okay, we also need to have a delete index create. You should have an update or something, right? Edit, details, delete, create. So let's do our first one here. It needs to be a view called a widget index, right? So you did a lot of the heavy lifting last time. So I should just be able to come in here and grab this, right? This thing is going to be a like that. And then we're going to have this widget in here. I guess we don't really want to have this grid in here, right? And now this is going to be called registered providers. Create new. And so now under my widget index, you should have this render partial in here. Now you're doing it here. Well, this is fine. So that means that in this, and then we're just going to dump this right on in here like that. Let's give that a try. I don't think this needs to be here. And then here, like that. And then it's going to render this partial, but you also need to include that grid, which is here, but you need to have the articles in it, which are this. No, it goes here. Oops. Okay, let's give that a try. All right, I've got to go to class. Great stream. See you guys around. All right, Shadow. See you either tomorrow or on Monday. All right, I got to get homework done. I'll leave the stream with that. Thanks, Himara TV. Appreciate that and the support. And I think you've already clicked the follow. I appreciate that. Make sure you also join us at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. And any of the older videos are actually up on YouTube, and there's no sound with them, so you can catch all the way up. We're 40 follows away, I think, on YouTube from getting a custom URL. So if you could, click the follow and help get that, and then that way I can really start posting it. Just started doing YouTube thing. Okay, let's see. We should be getting our site now. We probably need to log in. And we're probably going to get some problems with the controller. So when I come and I look at my provider's controller here, my index needs to return a new list of my provider view model. You should make a sound clip of that and just play it when you have a hit key sequence. Hey Hugo, without too much detail, is there any reason why this channel doesn't have subs? I use multi-stream, and I stopped streaming for like 3 months in there, and I just started again. One of the things that I do is I really like to encourage community and bringing people who are younger and people who are older, and I don't care where you come from, whether or not you're allowed to get Twitch or not. So there's other streaming platforms out there, and so this infrastructure kind of helps to bring all the different RSS providers into one. But I think we do have a donation if you want to support the stream, but not with bits. Here we go. Let's try it again. Got it. I think we're probably going to need to get my login here, which is under my code first. Migrations in here. Oh, great. You're an idiot. You have two things to do here. The first is this. Like that one. I don't have that running yet either. This is actually the bot here. You have to go to YouTube and search for LiverDev Trying here. I can put a link if you like. I know. You can probably hear that AC when it turns on. Okay, here we go. This looks good. We're going to update this. No problem. Thank you. I wonder why this thing has all these pieces in it. This shouldn't be here. This is all screwy. Let's fix this real quick. I don't know how you deal with that AC and the heat there. Well, I didn't have this AC for a long, long time. Actually, I did like 9 months of streaming in this room with this thing just filling up with heat. And no air conditioner, so it's quite nice now, let me tell you what. Okay, we want to do a... Come on, kick, 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 kick. Holy, yeah, gotta be tough. It's at the initial migration here. I had 6 computers running 24 hours a day in a room about that size a few years ago. Yeah, that's what it felt like, because there's 4 monitors and a laptop in here. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. My wife calls me a terraformer, because I terraform the environment. Okay, and then we're going to update it. World of Warcraft professional fodder. Set this one as the startup project here. And we need to make sure that this thing has the correct migration in it. Domain code first. I think each machine ran 4 to 5 accounts. That's smart though. One machine was dedicated leveling bot. I think just run instances on repeat. Can I ask what country you're from? Just kidding. Just kidding. That's funny. Did you make money doing that? I knew that there were people who made money doing that. We want to do an init on this one here. I grow it up, AOE it down. Update database. Oh my god. Okay, so that didn't take because it found the database in there or something? Nice, dude. Yeah, I imagine the legality of it was an interesting thing. Or the logistics of how you can make that work. Let's put this here in the... Oh, it's not done yet. Yeah, if you sold it... I knew about that. I knew Blizzard would sue people. PHS domain. Okay, and then we want to add migration here. And we're going to call it a init. Hey there, Frankly444. Welcome to the channel. How are you doing today? Now let's go ahead and update this. All right, this thing's gonna work. And then we'll set this back to be my startup project now. And I wanna look at my areas because we need to finish these views, and we'll run it. I gotta get my password here, which is down here under my code first. Migrations. Here. It's going to take a minute while it connects over to all of it was .NET. All the bot was the core, the actual bot was C++. Did you write the bot or just run them? We were part of a global team. We built them. We'll go ahead and sign in here. Again, this is verifying against my auth server, so that's working. Oh, I didn't add the links. So now here in my shared, my views shared, it's called aside. We want to add a new list item below it, and we're going to say that if this is coming from index of my chat area is coming in from there, and this thing is going to be a provider. I wonder, this is probably going to break here, huh? And we're going to call this providers. And we'll put some logic in here to decide if we need to have that later. Our job was to build ships, share with other parties, while another team was in charge of protecting everyone from Blizzard. There was another team in charge of mapping the entire game, keeping up. Yeah, I was assuming that the updates would keep it really interesting. Oh, I don't know why I'm sitting back. I don't need to recompile. So now I can see providers over here, and if I click on providers, you can see that I get a code and a name. And so that's cool. The create new is working fine. So I wonder if it'll actually let me do it. 101, and we can say this is Twitch. It's probably going to tell me I have a problem with my timestamp. No, but it's not loading anything. So if we wanted to load it, then I come back over here to my providers controller, and I want to do a little dependency injection. Public providers controller. We want to add my IBLL auth, and then also your services, client services, alley chat. I think this is called a base controller or something. Weren't you inheriting? And when you look at this thing, this should be passing in a generic. Like that. And now here you're going to have something called a public base controller passing in my type T, which is going to be called service. And then here you're going to have a protected T called your client services. And so now back over here, you should be able to pass in here your I client services Ali chat. We're going to call that client services. This is called my IBLL auth. I guess you also want to pass in here your, whoops. IBLL auth. And then let's hold on one second here. Just something to add to your portfolio, I'm guessing. Oh no, this is it's all part of the stream infrastructure. I'm running out of time. My apologies. I'm trying to go really fast as soon as I can here. There's something to add to your portfolio. I thought it was a fun idea. Well, service. You take streams like Liver and you use OpenCV to detect the actual code, and as the stream modifies, produce your own code. Just screen grab what was typed out, or I could just put it up there on GitHub, because I mean that's, if you want to put the time in, by all means. Okay. Got that. Dumb. So now here what you can do is you can do var providers equals await client services dot get providers async. And all that's going to do is take in my resource API URL and my BLL token. Something like that. I wonder where I put that, because that was definitely not in the right place. And this needs to be an async task, right? And this should be returning the response. So now we need to get the view models, view providers. Let me look at this one more time. This should not be returning this response. We want to do a provider view providers provider view model, and we want to do a collection of those. So now when I come back over and I look at the controller down here in my web API, wrong one. this one, and you look here at this get providers, that is an iCollection of view models. So it is correct. Like that. We want to get my code, right? Response code equals to integer of my HTTP status code dot, okay. Then you want to return here a view of your response dot providers. Broken record. You're gonna have a few of these things to add in here. Come on. Hey there, Golden Nana. Thank you for that follow. Appreciate that. If you have any questions, please put them into the channel. We've got a really active and supportive community and appreciate the support here. This thing here is a type of base here, and this is going to be a client services. It's an accounts. Like that. This one here wants provider's response. Okay, now we should be able to build this, right? Hey there, Mubot. It's good to see you, buddy. How are you? It's been a little bit. I missed you. I was actually thinking about you the other day. Identity Server 3 is awesome. Man, being able to use that Katana pipeline is amazing. I'm going to be implementing that next week, I think. Then it looks like we have one more of these things right here. I'm fine. Cool. Yeah. Okay, let's push out the web API and then we'll test it. Just wait for another second. Okay, it pushed. Now you can run it. I want to come over here to my Postman. Oh, it's not Postman, sorry, it's my Swagger, right? So you're running this thing on what? Localhost 8100, 81. 8082. Okay, so we're logged in here. Now I can come to Alley Chat and I can look at providers. There's the Swagger. We want to look at a provider. We're going to post a new one here. We're going to call this my 100. We want to call this Twitch. There you can see it ran successfully, and then when we start it, you can see that we are in fact receiving our new user. I wonder if this will actually work here, so we could do 101 and then do Discord. No, so this thing is not actually currently doing an ad, but we will definitely get that. So in terms of today, guys, we are out of time. We'll be back tomorrow. It's Saturday, so we'll probably start around 6 to 7. We'll probably be running till about 10 to 11 or 12. Make sure you check us out. If you haven't clicked the follow, please do. Check us out on YouTube. We just recently started putting these videos up there, so if you want to go back and see the beginning of any of these videos, that we all the way back to day one with no music. So make sure you check that out. I'll post a link actually here. It'll just take a second. And yeah, guys, until tomorrow, I will see you and have a good one. Bye.